know, it just seemed like this alien ritual where these two aliens kind of attacked orifices all of a sudden. And I was just like, I am not doing that. And collectively, all the girls in my class were like, that is fine. You are not on the list. You're not exactly a first-round draft pick for our new activity. But increasingly, sort of everyone was entering kind of the make-out club, and the non-make-out club was, we were losing good guys by the day, and I feared soon I would be the lone member. And so I had one real prospect in terms of making out, which is this girl named Lisa Bizzetti, but she's way out of my league, you know. But I had this edge up on these other guys who liked her because she had to talk to me every night about homework, thanks to alphabetical order, you know, Bizzetti, Birbiglia. And one night, I said something on the phone that made her laugh, and I was like, oh, this is great, like, I gotta do that more. And then one time, she was laughing so hard, and I remember so well, because she goes, Mike, you gotta stop, I'm gonna pee myself. And I was like, whoa. You know, like, this was the closest I'd ever come to a vagina. And so I spent the next 15 years trying to get Lisa Bizzetti to pee. And that's how I ended up here, you know, and that's how we all ended up here, in a sense. One time, I built up the courage to ask Lisa to go to the carnival with me, and she said yes, and I was so excited in my mind. It was going to be like this romantic comedy montage, you know. We'll go on some rides, and I'll win her a giant stuffed bear, and then we'll make out, and it'll all take like a minute and a half, and it'll be set to the Bruce Hornsby song. But I think, like, when you're 12 years old, you just don't understand certain things about your digestive system. Like, you don't know that you shouldn't eat popcorn and peanuts and funnel cake and cotton candy and then go on a machine called the scrambler. Cotton candy being the most insane of these items is basically like saying, we're going to take sugar, which everyone knows is bad, but then we'll dress it up like insulation. And I'm like, I'm not sure what the selling point is there. Is it the sugar or the insulation? They're like, we already sold it. So, I don't know if you folks have the scrambler where you live. I imagine you do. Even the radio listeners, I imagine, do. It travels on a truck. It's a traveling scrambling unit. The premise is you sit on a two-person pod with the person who you're in love with, and then that pod goes in a circle, which is part of an even larger circle, which is part of an even grander circle. As I understand it, it was originally designed as a medical device for constipated patients. It was called the Crap Your Pantserator, and it was very successful, and then it was co-opted by the Carnival Workers of America, CWOA, you know, and they said, we like it, but we feel like the name is something of a turn-off. And then one guy goes, what about the I think I'm gonna diarator? And they're like, well, that's good, because it gets across the essence of how you feel when you're on the machine, plus it has the added wordplay with diarrhea, which is a nice homage to the original intention of the machine. But we still feel like the name is something of a turn-off, and then one guy goes, what about the scrambler? Because it scrambled in. And they're like, yeah, we get it, Frank. But who is going to be in charge of this dangerous piece of equipment? And then this one guy goes, well, I have a nephew who's 16 years old and smokes pot 24 hours a day. I feel like he might be available. And they're like, he sounds amazing. We don't even need to interview him. He sounds completely cool. I sit down on the scrambler with Lisa, and I'm feeling pretty good, you know, like she's snuggling up close to me, and I'm thinking, this is it, like this is really special. This is where it's all going to happen. And then they put the barbed seatbelt down, and from the moment they put it down, I knew that I was going to throw up, for sure. And I even said to the 16-year-old stoner, I'm like, hey, actually, and then he was gone. Apparently, he doesn't enjoy the second halves of sentences. And then I'm scrambling, and I'm scrambling, and I'm thinking, I need to come up with a plan of some kind. My first plan was I wouldn't look at Lisa, and I wouldn't look at any other people. So I'm like, don't look at Lisa, don't look at other people, don't look at Lisa, don't look at other people. I need a new plan. And the new plan was that I needed to tell the scrambler operator that he needed to stop the ride. But the mathematics of the scrambler are such that the window of opportunity in which one can communicate with the scrambler operator is a very limited window. So I'm like, I got a helicopter, stop the ride. I got a helicopter, stop the ride. Please stop the ride, and then I'm back. 40 yards away, 50 yards away. I'm not sure he's paying attention. I gotta say it louder. Please stop the ride! And I'm back. 40 yards away, 50 yards away. I think he might be smoking pot right now. And the third time, I said, please stop that. And then I started throwing up, and it was not unlike an oscillating lawn sprinkler. Just popcorn and peanuts and insulation, really insulating the pavement with my homemade carnival salsa. And I did not look at Lisa, but I'm pretty sure she was staring at me because I was a spectacle. At that point, I was spectacular, and we did not make out. I did not lose my male virginity that evening. Thank you very much.
Boyfriend, and it starts previews tonight at the Barrow Street Theater here in New York. Opens on March 31st. I know you have a song. I'm not sure we have time.
I'll come back next week. Set it up. I mean, that sounds great.
But
whatever you want to do.
Do you travel with a guitar?
I do. I actually, I can play. You know what I'll do is I'll play just a riff of it.
Yeah, just play a chorus and a verse or something.
I'm not a musician, and it's very. I mean, with the band that just played, it is very embarrassing picking up an instrument. But I started playing sort of as a hobby when I've been touring as a comedian for about 10 years, and so I would just kind of mimic stuff that I'd hear on the radio. And a lot of times I would drive for hours, and I'd listen to everything on the radio. Like I'd even listen to Christian rock. By mistake, because it always starts off as like a Bon Jovi ballad, like I woke up in the morning and I got myself smokemobile and I put some raisins on it and Christ is God, Christ is God, 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 God. What about the oatmeal? And that just got me thinking, like, I think that every religion should have their own
awesome.
songs,
It's so funny.
Great comedian. Like Jewish rock. Like, I woke up in the morning and I got myself a bagel and I put some cream cheese on it and Christ isn't God. He's just not God. Nice, sure, but don't get overexcited.
Greene Space, the show takes all my girlfriend's boyfriends. Previews start tonight at the Barrow Street Theater. Mike, a real pleasure.
Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, good show.
For today's show, on our next program, we'll learn about web-based ways that musicians and artists are raising money and the potential legal troubles that loom in crowdfunding's future. Also, the Danish indie rock duo the Ravenettes will play live in our studio. And speaking of live, the next time we are here in the Greene Space will be less than 2 weeks. On Wednesday, March 30th at 2 p.m., we'll be joined right here in the Greene Space